our panel, Fireside Chats. And we have two generations of founders that we've backed that are in our portfolio that will be in conversation today. Our moderator is none other than Lisa Stifler of GeekWire. We're so excited to have you. And Lisa's a passionate journalist who enjoys, who enjoys conducting interviews, crafting stories, working with language and analyzing data. She's a writer for GeekWire and other publications. Lisa holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Cell and Molecular Biology. I bet y'all didn't know that. And a Bachelor of Arts in Communications, both from the UW. Lisa has served in various roles in the journalism field as a news reporter at GeekWire, a freelance journalist, features editor and writer at Seattle's Child, a freelance journalist at the Seattle Times, a journalism fellow at Sightline Institute, a reporter at the Seattle Post-Intelligencer, and even as a lab technician at the UW. I hand you over to the capable hands of Lisa Stifler. Thank you.
All right. And
should we come up?
We have a second one.
Come on down.
Okay.
Fantastic panelists.
Thank you.
Great. So I'd like to introduce Ann Carlson. She is CEO and founder of a startup down in Berkeley, California that is taking cricket protein and using that to make pet foods. And we also have David Gorey. He is a co-founder and CEO of AirBuild, which is a company that is based in San Diego. He's based in Portland. And it is using microalgae to treat water and turning that algae into biochar. We'll hear a little more about that. But I wanted to start this evening by learning a little bit about why you took the leap into starting your startup. What motivated you to do this, go on this journey? Okay. All right. And you're right.
I'll start. So, we're helping dogs live longer, healthier lives on a greener planet, and we're doing that by using insect protein. Now, I didn't wake up one day and go, I'm going to make dog food out of bugs. It didn't happen like that. I've worked in the consumer packaged goods industry for my entire career, and I was working for one of the big pet food companies, and we got acquired. And as I was trying to decide what I wanted to do next, I had this conversation with my daughter, and she was looking forward as well. What was she going to do next? And I thought it was going to be this exciting conversation about what the future held. And then all of a sudden, she laid this bombshell on me. She told me that she didn't want to have kids. She was worried about what the world would be like. I'm choking up. But by the time they grew up, and she was talking about climate change. And as we were talking, I realized I couldn't just do a normal job after that. Building a better future for her was everything. So I started to think about where I could have impact, what I could do. I knew the pet industry. I knew that there was a UCLA study that said 25 to 30% of the environmental impact of meat consumption in the US is due to our dogs and cats. And so I was like, this is a place where we can focus. So I started looking at all different types of proteins, and I had a page, being an ex-consultant, I had traditional proteins on one side and like lesser footprint proteins on the other side, and for some reason I put an insect on that side of the page. Then I saw this UN study that said insects could be the answer to world hunger, so I ordered some dry roasted crickets and tried feeding them to my dog, actually 2 dogs, and they started drooling immediately and following me around, and I was like, okay, we can work with this, and that was the start.
That's amazing.
My story is kind of different. So
Really?
I had a dog, but I did not feed my dog bugs. My mom handled the feeding, I was still a kid. But so I was born and raised in Nigeria. I spent the first 6 years of my life over there. And growing up, we had to drink water from wells because our natural water sources were polluted. And having experienced that from such a young age kind of shapes you. We would also go days, weeks, months, sometimes years without energy as a whole. And you kind of learn how to play Tetris and XNLs and grass. But we kind of, that kind of shaped, my upbringing. And then when I came here, to the US, got a few degrees. I met my co-founder from Kenya, Dr. Richard Marita, who lost his mother and sister to waterborne diseases. So when we connected on LinkedIn, we started talking about our shared hurts and the fact that globally over 2.3 billion people lack access to clean water, and WHO reported that water is a finite resource. By 2030, we will be in a water deficit. We started thinking about what we can do to solve that problem, and that led us to where we are today.
Fantastic. So you came from these very intentional places of addressing climate and sustainability issues, but you have to operate in the real world and get real investors and real customers. How do you approach that? Do you make a climate pitch to win them over, or how do you win that?
Well, when I first started, it was a climate pitch. We were talking about the sustainability of the insect protein, less land, less water, almost no greenhouse gases, and I thought that was compelling. But what we realized is that that wasn't enough to get pet owners to take their dogs over and put them onto an insect-based diet. So as we were doing the work on the business, we were continuously doing studies on the benefits on the insect protein for the dogs. And we realized that besides being this amazing protein alternative, it also has all of these bioactive compounds, things like medium-chain fatty acids, antimicrobial peptides, chitin. These things boost the dog's immunity. It can help dogs that have allergies. It can help dogs that have sensitive stomachs. So in the last couple of years, we have pivoted and we lead now with the dog's health. And it's a much better place from a consumer perspective because they're in a place where they've got a problem and they need to solve it. And people don't switch their dog's food very easily, and this was a way in for us, and it's been working really, really well.
Yeah, I would second that. When we first started, we started with our hearts. We started with we can actually make a change and be the change we want to see in the world. And boy, did we struggle to raise. So we learned the hard way that you have to build a solution that's impactful, but also make it cheaper, faster, better. So that was a big learning point for us. So we don't pitch climate, we pitch cheaper, faster, better, locally accessible.
I mean, and how are you internally kind of measuring impact and feeling like you're making the difference you want to be making?
Well, we still use the SDGs, the Sustainability Development Goals, to measure the impact that we're having. We still believe that that is important. It is the and. We want to make sure that we have a product that has no compromises. So, it's still there and will continue to be there into the future.
We measure our impact based on the amount of water we've treated, amount of carbon restored, because those are metrics that we can track. And the goal for us long term is we plan to start measuring based on how much ecosystem we've restored, be it land with our fertilizer, be it water with our treatment, how much fish have come back, to that through digital twins. But right now we're measuring it based on the direct impacts. Just like she said, the SDG goals. How much water have we treated, how much water have we restored back to the community, because those are actionable, metrics that we can set KPIs on and work to get better with.
And this is a really challenging space, and you're doing something really difficult, and you look even more broadly in climate change. Climate change is super overwhelming and sometimes discouraging. I'm wondering how you, as both someone who's running a company and a leader, as well as someone in your community, stays grounded, stays hopeful, stays inspired.
Well, I talk with a lot of people about what we're doing, and I hear a lot of people saying they have eco-anxiety. It's a real thing. It's overwhelming. What can you do? And what I try to do is I actually encourage people to pick a world problem and do what they can against it. Every single decision that you make in your life, you have an opportunity to make a better choice. And I think it's important to remind people that they can do that even in their everyday life. In fact, if you look at Project Drawdown, which I love, if you haven't read or looked at that, it is amazing. But they say that by doing just simple things in your household, you can have an impact. And I try to help people realize that.
Be the change you want to see in the world is really the mantra that we go by. For us, again, we're still mission oriented to our core during our hiring process. If we're talking to anyone who's not an investor, we talk about the impact, we talk about the mission, because that's really what resonates. Water is life. You can't go 7 days without water. So that resonates for us. But when we're talking to the money people, the changes to the money talk. But that we've noticed that really resonates in terms of we all have faced something. We've all have read, a report or seen a show that kind of hit us, deep down to trigger that move to make a change. And by sharing our story, like communities like this, are really what keep us going.
And I know this event is really focused on multi-generations. So do you have any specific thoughts on how you're reaching towards younger folks as well as older people to make this a dialogue that just runs across all ages?
Well, our initial targets with the dog food were younger consumers. We play really well with Gen Z and millennials, who now actually are close to 50% of the dog owners in the US. So we try to talk to them directly. However, since we've made the pivot into dog health, the conversation is really broadened out, and we have people across all demographics, all political spectrums who are coming into the brand, which is exciting to see.
For us, we are primarily dealing with older folks in our line of work, because we're talking to cities, industries, and those are not your random 29, 28, 27-year-old. On the other side, we're talking to farmers with our fertilizer who are also not your 24, 25-year-olds. So we're really leveraging the message of we can do it better than what you currently know. And the Strait of Hormuz being closed with what's going on in Iran is honestly disastrous. But the one silver lining, and I read this on LinkedIn a few days ago, the silver lining is globally reducing the dependence on fossil fuel products, because over 15% of US farmers have closed this year alone because fertilizer prices have gone up 30% and they can afford it. So they're searching for sustainable alternatives. So when we talk to them, we're like, hey, how desperate are you? You want some fertilizer? We got some. So that's really resonating in terms of really finding, regardless of the generation, older, younger, we're all, motivated to really get what we want. And if that supply is there, the demand will arise.
And I want to go back to the story of your daughter, and how does she feel now, and how does she see you maybe as a role model or an inspiration?
It's pretty exciting. She is in the film industry as a director and an editor, and she is actually working with us a lot these days. She's really excited about it, and what I was really hoping to do is make her feel more optimistic about the world, and I think we've achieved that. I don't know if she's going to have a kid or not. But she is more optimistic, which makes me really happy, because I think that is really, we have to stay optimistic. We have to keep striving to get to a better place.
And what about your co-founder or even your family back in Nigeria? I mean, how do you engage with them on this issue now that you're taking these really meaningful steps to try to solve some of these problems?
It resonates. It resonates even beyond the people who are facing this problem. It aggressively resonates. We were lucky enough to be featured by a World Economic Forum, and ever since, my emails have been blowing up from people in Thailand, Philippines, Southeast Asia, India, Africa, really all over, even here in the US. I mean, we're in Utah, for God's sake. So we've been seeing that interest, saying, hey, we love what you guys are doing. We would love to see a solution in our cities. You know, we were talking about it earlier, and you go through your reviews, you know, as a way to feel, you know, better about what you're doing. For us right now, since we're still pre-revenue, pre-production, the video that got posted by World Economic Forum across all social media, I sometimes find myself, not sometimes, I always go through it at least twice a day to see the comment section, and you really see people going, hey, we need this in our city. Hey, have you heard of Idaho? I'm like, yes, I have. That's a reinforcement in itself, and that, you know, keeps us motivated to keep going.
I don't know if there are other founders here. Do you have advice for people who also want to, you know, pursue some dream to try to solve this problem through a business, try to address climate change in some way?
So I really say three things, right? And the first one, I stole it, so please don't quote me. You miss all the shots you don't take, right? And I think that's Kobe. The second is, the best time to start something was yesterday. The second best time is today. The third best time is tomorrow, but you should really focus on the first two. and the third is, failure for anything other than lack of effort is not failure, it's a learning experience. If Airbuild were to go to nothing today, and I just, you know, stood up from here and went back into, you know, what life was prior, I would feel very accomplished, because I know that I've motivated, you know, someone, hopefully, and I've shared my story, and the technology has been advanced to a point where someone can take it and run with it. So if you are excited about a problem, if you feel like this problem is insurmountable and is pulling you and you want to do something about it, do it. But I'm also going to place a caveat, because again, we're fundraising, so I've been talking to a bunch of investors, so I also have that in my mind. If you build something that no one will pay for, that's a science experiment, not a company. So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with.
That's a good point. I actually live in Berkeley, and the UC is there, so I work with the Haas School of Business a lot, and I've been both a judge and a mentor for their Big Ideas program, which is for young entrepreneurs. And I agree with everything that you said, but the one thing, make sure you love it and you believe in it, but do the hard work, do the research. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with students and they come to me with this, oh, we're the only ones doing this. No, you aren't. So, you know, really understand what you're doing, whether it's that it is differentiated, find a way to make it differentiated, and then just go for it. Do it.
Maybe a last question, since this, I think, is a group that's looking for reasons to be hopeful. Can you share what makes you hopeful in this time and place?
You can go first.
What makes me hopeful is that the company is growing, and it's growing, actually, it's outpacing the market. And it's outpacing the market because what we're doing works, the consumers love it, and I get reviews, we were talking about this earlier, about this is life-changing. This has really made a difference for my dog. But there's others who come in and say, I love this company. I love that you're thinking about climate change. And for me, those are the things that are just absolutely affirming and keep me going, especially when it's those hard times, and there are hard times, but those are the things that really make me feel good and keep me going.
To piggyback on that, my answer is community, really. Spaces like this. I was just in San Francisco for Climate Week, Dallas for EarthX, and just being around so many incredible people who are aware of what we're facing, who are embedded into this belief that we can do better. We can leave this planet better than we met it. We're gonna take the steps that's needed to get us there, from the funders, to the founders, to the ecosystem supporters, to the nonprofit organizations, to the governments, right? Maybe not right now, but globally, there's still, people who are taking those steps, and that's really what keeps us what keeps us pushing all the way to the constituents, right? Like I said, I go through those World Economic Forum posts, and I do read them. If you go through, you will see that I liked a bunch of them and commented on others. So those are the things that reinforce that irrational belief, because don't get me wrong, it is irrational. The fact that you just stand up one day and go, I'm gonna do this, regardless of what goes wrong, I'm gonna do this, but those things, the community, the people, are really what keep us going.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Ann, David, for sharing your stories and giving us some help. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.